Hi, this is CBRadioMagazine.com, and today we're going to look at the Galaxy DX93T export radio, or 10-meter radio. This is an AM/FM single sideband radio. It does have quite a few options. Looks very similar to the Galaxy DX95T. The main difference between the radios is going to be the absence of the second pill final for this particular radio. The Galaxy 95T was a 2-pill transistor setup with a fan underneath, and those are mounted on the bottom cover of the radio. The Galaxy DX93T uses a 2290 transistor pill in the back of the radio by itself on its own circuit board, and then it has dual fans on the back of the heatsink to keep the cooling there. Well, let's go zoom in and we'll take a look at some of the features on the radio. Galaxy 93T does have a large meter here, typical large Galaxy meter. It does say twin turbine up here, which refers to the two fans on the back. Has a modulation lamp on it. As you key the radio and modulate the lamp, you can turn that on or off and it'll glow brighter with louder modulation. There's a channel bank, frequency bank located here, so you can do through the typical A through H frequencies. Radio can go, into the 10-meter frequencies for you who are authorized hams to do so. It has a PA, FM, AM, upper sideband, lower sideband selector. 4-pin standard Cobra Galaxy unit-in type microphone plug. There's a switch here that controls the different modes for the meter: SWR, modulation, power. This is your power settings for RF output. It doesn't have variable power in terms of an actual control knob, but it does have a switch where you can go from a low power setting, medium power setting, or a high power setting. It's kind of nice. You actually can just set it up, just put it on low for into an amplifier if you're just running 1 watt or whatever, and that way you can just flip it in, don't have to worry about adjusting a variable knob down. On the bottom we have dual control pots, so volume and squelch, volume on the inside, squelch on the outside. Microphone gain here on the inside, talkback control on the outside. To turn the talkback on or off, you actually depress the button and it clicks in. You can hear it click back out. That's how you turn the talkback on, and then it's adjustable on the outside ring. The echo is the same way. You push the echo in to turn it on or off. And then the echo amount is on the inside, the time delay is on the outside. Clarifier, this is a fine and coarse clarifier. You can push this one in and it actually turns the noise blank ALN, automatic noise limiter, on or off, ANL. The clarifier is kind of interesting on this radio. You can flip this switch here into the left position, which is RX TX, and it'll track on RX and TX. You can flip it into the off position where the clarifier won't affect the frequency at all, or you can put it into the receive only RX position over here where it'll only affect the receive and not the transmit. This switch here is going to be off position, or you can dim the radio, or it has a 40 dB pad, which is like an RF gain. If you're right next to another truck or whatever and you need to turn on the RF gain, that's what that's going to be. Has an option here, turn on the modulation lamp, which we showed you over on the left side, or you can do the 10 kilohertz jump. There's a 5-digit on-off button. You can actually take off that last digit if you don't want to display it. And over on the right hand side you're going to see a couple of indicator lights. This is your noise blank ANL light. This is a 10 kilohertz switch light, and then there's the 40 dB pad light that can come on. There's also a high SWR alert light built in there that'll also come on. Frequency counter, 6-digit active frequency counter, channel display, and large channel changing knob. Looking at the back of the radio, you can see the two twin fans there. They're mounted on the heatsink. They're for cooling the radio. There's a coaxial connector, and on the right you'll see the PA speaker CW key and external speaker jacks. The power connector is much like the 2970 type power connectors. It's not like a standard 3-pin, so you do have a special power cord, which looks like this. And it does come fused on the negative and positive terminals with fuses, so a little heavier duty power cord than most people are used to, much like the 2970DX type power cord. Looking inside the Galaxy 93T, you'll see it looks fairly standard for the type of export radio. You will notice though there's a couple places where there are some boards that do take advantage of surface mount technology. And if we look towards the back of the board, one of the main differences between this radio and many others is going to be the Toshiba 2290 pill transistor mounted on the back with the circuit board there. Definitely kind of unique design. There's not too many radios on the market that ever use this type of setup with a single pill in the back, and that's really what gives this radio the ability to swing up around 75 watts on sideband. Okay, Galaxy 93 tuning points back here at the back of the radio. Single sideband ALC control, VR13, the VR16 AM modulation, VR18 your AM and FM low power adjustment point for your low power setting. High power setting is going to be over here. This is VR14. And if you do need to adjust your single sideband APC voltage, it's back here, VR17, and a little hidden there. I found the Galaxy DX93T to be fairly stable on sideband, much like the Galaxy DX95T. It did have slight drift in a mobile environment where the temperatures were changing. In the base environment though, once we got it set up, as you can see, it's very solid on frequency. Didn't really need to touch the clarifier at all. Lots of options, very good Galaxy audio on AM and sideband. We did test it out with the stock microphone and also with the power microphone. With a nice desk microphone, it can definitely do some serious audio. As far as output, the radio can swing well above 50 watts. So if you're someone that was looking at a dual final radio previously and thought maybe a dual final wasn't quite enough power, but you don't want to step up to the full 2-pill type output like a DX95T, this radio is kind of nice in between. Gives you more output than some of those other radios, and not quite as much as a full-on 2-pill. Definitely had enough power on sideband. We made some good contacts, put some good signals out there on the high power setting. The frequency counter is real nice to have, 6-digit there. A lot of the radios with 5 digits to me are pretty much useless for sideband, so I like to see that 6-digit. The receiver on the radio is actually very good, and a little bit noisy on AM, just need to be adjusted inside, but overall very good receive. No real complaints about the radio. We did have a little warble at one point in operation. I think we've sorted that out. But overall, yeah, I like the radio. I like the fact that it doesn't have to have the large amplifier section on the bottom. It does just have that single 2290 in the back. And the radio is discontinued, so if you're looking for these now, you're only going to find them used on eBay or on a radio forum or on Craigslist. This has been CB Radio Magazine. We'll post up our article as soon as we get it written. Thanks for watching our video.